What's good guys, it's Tom here for UKCG, and today I'm actually stuck in a hotel room. Basically I'm up here in Birmingham filming some music videos with Ignite TV, so definitely go and check those out, give those guys a follow. What we're talking about today is it a good idea for you to buy someone else's half-finished project car? Run that intro. Should you be buying someone else's project car? The short answer is yes and no. There's a lot of factors that play into it, so that's what we're going to be getting into today, guys. First things first, I'm not going to be talking about your average sort of restoration project. This is going to be more for the highly modified stuff, so things like engine swaps, off-road conversions, I don't know what else, but this is not just your kind of run-of-the-mill nut and bolt restoration. Although it does kind of play into it, this is going to be more focused on those highly modified specialist vehicles. There is a fear of buying someone else's modified car because you don't really know what they've bought for it, what's actually gone into it, what they've done to it, what they have and haven't changed. There's a lot of unknowns, including why they actually did stop the project. They may just say it's something like, oh, I ran out of money, lost the motivation, couldn't be bothered anymore. That's probably what they're going to say, but you know, there is always that possibility that there is something that they had missed off, and obviously they're not going to tell you that whilst they're trying to sell you the car, so that is something you do need to go into this with, knowing that there could be something major that still needs sorting out. With these sorts of issues, no matter what it is, if you throw money at the problem, you can sort it out, but sometimes that is going to be more than what the car's worth to you or what the job's worth to you, or it may even be out of your ability. Is it risky buying someone else's project car? Yeah, 100%. You're not going to know right away absolutely everything that is wrong with the car until you start really taking it apart, looking at everything and working on it yourself. So rust is going to be at the top of this sort of category, particularly if you're buying something a lot older. I know Classic Minis rust out, MX-5 rust out, they're all pretty popular for highly modified things, as well as the S chassis. S chassis I know have their rust issues, so obviously rust, you need to be budgeting for that. So for example, with my MX-5 I knew about the rear seal rust, so I factored that in when I was buying the car. But when I did pull the front wings off the MX-5, unfortunately there was a build-up of dirt, leaves and other crap in that little area behind the wing, which had never ever been cleared out, and yeah, the front of my seals had also rusted out. So yeah, I managed to get that sorted out for about 250 quid, and that was including the cost of getting a welding guy to come around, as well as the panels and the supplies. So he literally just did the welding, I did all the sealing up and painting, so that kept cost down as well. Big thing about removing all the risk is you need to do your research. I find it really helps if you kind of break down the cost of the parts that you actually have in the car. So for example, ECUs, body panels, engine, figure out everything that is worth money, figure out how much in the So figure out how much the car is worth in parts, because worst case scenario and you can't put the car back together or you can't be bothered anymore, just break it for bits, and with any luck you're not going to lose any money, and you never know, you might end up making money. But that's kind of when you're budgeting to buy a car like this, you need to think of it as what is the cost of the parts, not the actual car itself. Is this project going to be rewarding? Yeah, 100% it's going to be rewarding, because you're going to be getting something that is perfect for you. You can build it to where you want it to be, and it is going to be interesting and unique. So there are V8 swapped MX-5s, I know. You can do LS, 1UZ, small block Chevys I've seen, lots of other things in America, but it is a very small market in the UK, which is why I quite like being in that little club, because it is a little club, and there's even fewer people with Rover Swap, whether that's for a reason or blah blah, that's kind of up to everybody else. I know it's not the most favourable engine in the world these days, but I really like it, so I don't care. When you are going into these projects, you do need to realise that it is going to be a passion project, there is going to be a lot of work involved, so you cannot be going into it expecting to put the car together. So yeah, you really can't be going into it thinking that you're going to put the car together, build it, and then sell it for a profit, just because realistically it's not going to happen. I know some engine swap projects are better than others for that. So for example, S13s with engine swaps, I know those tend to go for big money, but again, you really need to be doing this for yourself, because otherwise you're just going to lose the motivation, and it's just not really going to happen. The next bit is going to be on the person that you're buying the car from. Obviously that is going to factor in quite a lot. So the guy that I got my car off, I could tell that he was very handy with a welder. You know, he had lots of different projects going on at the time, so I could see that his work was good. So for example, he had a Land Rover there that he pulled the old engine out of, and he was doing some Mercedes diesel lump going into it. So again, I kind of got a sense he was into his off-roaders, and he'd kind of done this swap with just stuff he had lying around and a donor MX-5. So at that point I kind of realised that yeah, maybe it was the fact that he lost interest in the project, but also it did run and drive. So that kind of put me at ease a little bit as well. Once you've got all of that figured out, you can then start negotiating with the seller. So as it is going to be it's very much a buyer's market with this sort of thing, because there's not going to be that many people out there wanting to buy these kinds of cars. So the seller wouldn't have had a whole lot of interest, I don't think. But obviously, that's going to depend. But yeah, so after evaluating what you've seen in front of you, figuring out how much it would be worth as parts, because you never know, in a worst case scenario where you can't get it on the road for whatever reason, or you find some kind of catastrophic issue, or you don't even want to continue with the project, that's absolutely fine. I know it happens, I've seen it loads before as well. If what you bought the car for is less than the cost of the parts, then you're going to be quids in. Obviously it'll take a bit of time to break those parts up, but you will be able to get your money back. Also, I know it's a big thing for these owners. The previous owners would have spent a lot of money to get the car to where it is today. I know my owner had at least, for example, the custom exhaust. I've got an invoice for that, and yeah, it's big money, and I did not pay anywhere near that for the car. So there are going to be some stages that you're going to go through with actually building the car. So for me, it helped to break down what I wanted to do by when. So I had a schedule, so it was like, got the car in November, I wanted to get it ready for summer. It ended up being towards the end of summer, just after various things going wrong. It's going to happen, but your first stage is going to be just get the thing on the road. Don't worry about how it looks, don't worry about how much horsepower it's got, just get it on the road, let it put a smile on your face, you know, take it to some shows, do whatever you need to do to actually get some enjoyment out of the thing, because when the next season rolls around, you are going to want to get the car even better for the next season. So I know I did anyway. So for example, once I actually got my car on the road, there were things that I wanted to change on it immediately. So for example, I've completely changed the gearbox, so it's gone from a really tired LT77 out of a SD1, and it's now got a world-class T5 in it from Borg Warner, suspected out of a TVR race car. Once I got the car on the road, I realised the gearbox was crunching into third. They are old, tired gearboxes, so it would have needed a big rebuild, and at that point the T5 is just so much better anyway. So yeah, you're going to figure out what needs doing, and that is going to be in the next stage of the build. So it really is at this point where you need to decide, is this build something that you really want to pursue in the long run? So for me, I knew that it was, but you never know, the engine, the choice of gearbox, the choice of chassis, you might end up not liking, and that's absolutely okay. And at that point you can choose to either sell the car on, break it for bits, do whatever you want with it. You don't have to proceed with it because it's kind of further on from this. You need to know that you're really going to be passionate about that project, because at this point you are going to be spending big money. So for me, you know, I had to buy a whole new gearbox, get it modified, get a new bell housing for it, and believe me, those bell housings are rare and not cheap. But yeah, so with stage 2, you are going to want to get it ready for summer, so you need to set a deadline, and yeah, just knuckle down, get that thing running as well as you possibly can. So I had loads of issues to sort out. So I had a real issue with cooling, so I fitted much larger fans to mine, as well as a modified radiator to actually mount the fans directly to the rad. But yeah, at this stage it is going to be fixing everything, getting the car running as good as you possibly can, as well as doing some other mods. So you might want to upgrade your suspension. So for me, I had cheap eBay coilovers on mine, so those promptly were actually sold on, and I got some BC Racing coilovers to go in, which again I'm really pleased about. I really like them. But yeah, this is where you are going to be beginning to spend big money on your car. So, you know, at this stage the project does become the money pit. I know it did for me anyway. So I had gearboxes to buy, suspension. I changed the diff in mine as well, so it's got a later diff, but again I plan on modifying that further later on down the line, so you just see how it goes with falling down the rabbit hole, and it does really happen, and it does really end up getting expensive. And finally, so once you've done stage 2, again, got the thing back on the road, enjoy it over summer, don't worry about what it looks like, just enjoy it, enjoy driving it, and then finally you can move on to stage 3, which is going to be the aesthetics and the exterior of the car. So a lot of times you won't actually need to do a whole lot to it. You may, but you know, you could always change the colour of it, do a wide body kit, do a body kit, anything like that. But yeah, for me, my paintwork was really bad, as you would see from images and that kind of thing. So I did take the thing back to bare metal. I've repainted absolutely everything on the car. Whole new front end panels, and I'm in the process of getting the thing wrapped at the moment. But yeah, I don't know if it will be wrapped yet, but in the next video or so you will see the kind of final project finished, for now anyway. So, and the reason I'm going for a wrap is I can take it off in a few years time. I have still got some mechanical stuff that I want to sort out, so I want to upgrade the diff, change the engine as well. So it is a 3.5 at the moment, but I do want to take that up to a 4.3. So once that's kind of in the car and I've got everything sorted, I can then save up the money, and I'll actually have the budget to do a full-blown paint restoration. So after you've fiddled about with the aesthetics, there will be more stuff down the line that you want to change. That's just inevitable with a project car. You know, it's true what they say, a project car is never truly finished. Depending on how much work it is, I really would advise against doing all 3 stages at once. Basically, for me, I would have just run out of motivation, because it's so much work, and then you miss out on actually enjoying the car during the summer. So definitely do it in stages. Don't just tear the thing up and do it full on nut and bolt restoration, because you never know, you may spend all that money on actually getting it running beautifully, get it painted, all for you to then go, oh, I don't actually like this, or I'm just going to sell it, because at that point you have wasted a bunch of money, and someone else reaps the rewards for your hard work. Yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for this video. I've covered a lot of stuff, I think, in this one. I hope I've got something that actually goes together and makes sense. I may do a part 2. If you guys have any further questions or advice or things like that, please comment them down below. It'd be great to hear your guys' suggestions. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all of that stuff. It really means a lot to me, and yeah, it'd be really nice to see some growth on the channel. Please keep an eye out for videos coming out soon on the new car's look. I'm really excited to see it, and I just can't wait to show it to you guys. So I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.